Hey, what is up, Frag fam? Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. So a few weeks ago, I did a video called my top 5 designer fragrances to start your collection, which was basically just a compilation of fragrances, 5 fragrances of course, that I think that are very versatile when working together. You can basically cover any scenario between the 5, and they're all priced pretty well as well. So affordable designers, you know, like I said, they can cover you in many situations. It's just like a do-it-all style collection. And I said if we broke 100 likes on that video, then I would do the niche version of that list as well, which you guys absolutely blew that out of the park. We went well past 100 likes. So now we're gonna be doing the niche edition of my top 5 niche fragrances to start your collection with. So if you guys wanna find out what these 5 fragrances are, then please stick around. But first, let's roll that intro. Alright guys, welcome back from the intro, and like I already said, this is going to be my top 5 niche fragrances to start your collection with. And like I've said before, this is basically a list of fragrances where if I had somehow lost my collection, if all the bottles just randomly blew up, but I had the current knowledge I have, these would be the ones that I would restart my collection with, because working together, these are ultra versatile. So if you guys are new to fragrances as well, maybe you own a bunch of designers, but you're looking to get into the niche side of fragrances, I think these are all pretty good in that aspect. None of them are too challenging. They're all fairly affordable as far as niche fragrances go. I'm actually going to be pricing these all under $200. So I made sure not to go for fragrances that are like $300, $400 plus. These are all under $200 when you're looking on discounters. And then just like with the previous video, there's going to be 5 categories. So you have a work fragrance, which is like, you know, of course, it's going to be like office friendly. It's just going to be very clean, put together, nothing super like off the wall. There's also going to be a freshie, so something to wear in the very high heat when it's extremely hot out. Also going to be a date night fragrance or a going out fragrance, something that's a little bit sensual. And then of course, there's also going to be, and then the next category will be the dumb reach fragrance. So it's going to be wearable in any situation you can possibly think of. And then the last category is going to be the black tie event fragrance. So something you can wear when you're ultra dressed up and you're trying to, you know, smell as good as you look. That's going to be the fragrance for that scenario. So with all that out of the way, finally, let's dive into the first fragrance with the office or work friendly fragrance. Okay, so starting the video off, like I said, this is gonna be the office or work-friendly fragrance. This one is decently underrated for the house. I don't see it get much talk, although there are definitely fragrances from this house that get less talk. I just find this one to be overall better than I think it's given credit for. This is coming from the house of Creed, and this is Himalaya, which at one point, this was my favorite Creed fragrance. It's shifted back a little bit, but it's still definitely in like that top third, I would say overall. This stuff just smells fantastic. I've heard it is similar to Paco Rabanne's XS, which I have not smelled that, so I cannot actually attest to that. That's just what I've heard. To my nose, this thing is a very nice kind of soapy, fresh, metallic, lightly kind of creamy, woody fragrance, all right? So you get bergamot in here. There's also grapefruit and then lemon. So it is very fresh, very zesty from the opening. Although pretty quickly that is mixing with the sandalwood and then this kind of soapy musk in a way. So it does have, like I said, it's kind of a woody feeling fragrance with a little bit of a creaminess, but that's not really adding a dense quality to it. It's just kind of there in a supportive role. And like I said, the musk here, it's definitely detectable. It's very clean, kind of brings a soapy feel to this fragrance. And then of course you do get the ambergris in this fragrance, like you do get in all Creed fragrances, basically, you know, brings kind of an aquatic, almost salty marine feel. In the end, like I said, this stuff is very soapy, very fresh with a light kind of creamy woodiness, and it's just very good, I would say, for an office setting. Again, there's nothing offensive about it. You could wear this stuff with 20 sprays, you know, spray it super heavy. You're not gonna offend anybody because that's just the kind of scent profile that this stuff is. So an awesome pick, definitely underrated from the house, and I would say a perfect work fragrance on the niche side. And like I said, with all the fragrances in this video, you're gonna be able to find the full-size bottles for under $200 looking on the discounters. This one is no exception. I have the 120 milliliter size bottle here, which you really can't find anymore. But if you're looking for the 100 mil, again, the full size bottle that they're currently producing, you can definitely find that discounted for under $200. And I will try and leave links down below to all the fragrances I'm recommending in this video as well. So again, here at the number 5 spot, coming from the house of Creed, this was Himalaya. Okay, so moving on to the next fragrance category, this is gonna be the Freshie. So stuff you're gonna wanna wear in the springtime, the summertime, just the ultra high heat when you really don't wanna wear a fragrance. This is the style of fragrance that you would want to reach for. Now on the niche side, of course, fragrances generally bring more complexity, more depth, and maybe even a little bit more richness. So you don't see as many fresh fragrances in the niche realm as you do in the designer realm, although there still are some, and I own quite a few. I think when you're looking at the price and everything, the overall appeal, and then just something that actually does qualify as an ultra freshie, I think this is one of the best out there by far. So this is coming from the house of BDK Parfums, and this is Celle d'Argent, which I really, man, I didn't get to wear this one as much as I wanted to this summer, but I did get to wear it a couple of times and do some test sprays and stuff. This stuff smells absolutely fantastic. Fairly unisex. I don't think this is a freshie that leans masculine. I think with the orange blossom, the ylang ylang, and some other florals that this one has, it's kind of just balanced out in the middle to be very, very unisex. This also features salt. There is grapefruit in here and then bergamot as well. So you are getting a very kind of salty aquatic feel. And I think this is a pretty salty fragrance, especially as it dries down. And that's not a bad thing. It's not an off-putting salty kind of smell. It's not like BO or anything like that, but it just brings a very marine feel to the fragrance. Again, working with those citruses, it is very bright and uplifting. There's actually ambroxan in here as well, cashmeran, and then some musk as well. So it is very kind of aroma chemical heavy in the base. The ambroxan here definitely boosts the longevity for this fragrance, which it really needs, because again, this is that style of scent profile where if it didn't have it, it would barely last 4 hours. Decent performance overall. Again, a perfect niche fragrance for the summertime. This stuff you can wear just super heavy. You can spray it on as much as you want. You're not going to offend anybody with it. An awesome fragrance, definitely one that deserves more limelight going forward. So again, from the house of BDK Parfums, this is my pick for the fresh fragrance. This is Celle d'Argent. Okay, so moving on to the third fragrance category, this is gonna be your date night or your going out fragrance. Now, before we actually get into it, I just wanna preface by saying that with this list, just like I did with the designer version of this list, I was trying to bring you guys stuff that met all of the criteria and that I honestly do enjoy a lot, but stuff that is a little bit more under the radar, not talked about quite as much, because I'm trying to bring you guys new information so you guys can make decisions on stuff that you have not heard about before, or maybe you haven't heard about talked quite as much. This is the one that I'm gonna say that I really wasn't able to find a better fragrance to fill this spot. There definitely are plenty of date night or going out fragrances on the niche side, but a lot of those do bring a challenging side. This one is the most approachable, especially for somebody new to niche fragrances, while still being a very good date night fragrance and still meeting the price point that I set earlier here in this video. So with all that out of the way, finally, this one, again, in the date night category, this is coming from the house of Parfums de Marly, and this is Latin, which I still absolutely love this stuff. Wow, to this day, this was actually my first niche fragrance. I still remember when I tried it the first time. I tested it on my skin at Nordstrom, and I was walking around town. I actually ended up going back and doing another spray later in the day because I loved it so much. I wanted to get another wearing out of it. This stuff smells fantastic. It has lavender, vanilla, cardamom, and then green apple as some of the prominent notes. So it is a little bit fresh and fruity and spicy from the apple and then the cardamom, but it is also very seductive, sweet, and I would say dense as well, coming from that vanilla, of course. And then the lavender brings a nice aromatic side to this, makes it a little bit more mature while, again, still being very playful overall. I think it is pretty versatile in the sense that it can be pretty youthful, but also there is a maturity to this fragrance as well. In the end though, it is super approachable. There's a reason this thing is so popular. If you guys have not had the opportunity to try Latin, definitely check it out. I do prefer Latin exclusive just a little bit to this one, but I can objectively say that that one is more challenging. It's not quite as approachable as this one. If I was to recommend one of the two to somebody that was newer to fragrances and just looking for something that is very approachable, I would hands down point them towards this one, the original Latin. So again, here in the third category for the date night spot, it had to be here. This is coming from the house of Parfums de Marly, and it was Latin. Okay, so moving on to the fourth fragrance category, of course, this is gonna be your dumb reach fragrance. So you can literally wear this in any scenario possible, and it's gonna work to some regard. It's not gonna be the best fragrance for that particular category, but it's gonna be far from the worst. Again, super easy. If you guys had like a one fragrance niche collection, this is the one that can fill it, and again, do anything possible. Nonetheless, this is coming from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and this is Gentle Fluidity Silver, which is really, wow, this stuff is so appealing. I do not understand how this is not as popular as, say, Baccarat Rouge 540 from the house. I absolutely prefer this to that fragrance. They're both great, but again, this thing has such an appealing nature to it. I'm really surprised by how little talk this stuff actually gets. This one features juniper berries, woody notes, and then vanilla as well, with a few other notes as well. It's not an overly complex fragrance, but it smells really high quality. It does have an appealing nature to it. Again, that's why it's a dumb reach, because it's gonna just smell ultra good. It's gonna work in any scenario. This one does have a fairly sweet kind of side to it. And in fact, when you're wearing this, there's definitely times kind of throughout the day where it'll give you a very small kind of nudging or remembrance of Invictus Aqua while not smelling the exact same. Again, it just kind of hints at that fragrance, but it's definitely not a clone or an inspired by fragrance, and it's definitely not as sweet as that fragrance either. Again, it's just kind of reminding you of it. But again, there's a lot more to this one than that. This one I find to be a lot sharper, a lot brighter, but there is definitely a dense, sweet quality to it at the same time, coming from some coriander, and then again, those woody notes, and there's even a little bit of nutmeg in here, spicing it up. So it does have a very nice kind of approachable vibe to it overall. It's got some fresher qualities, but again, some denser qualities as well. It's a little bit spicy, it's a little bit sweet, it's even a little bit dry at times. It's a very versatile fragrance, and that's exactly why I'm putting it here in this category. It has really good longevity as well. And again, I just can't say enough good things about this one. Really like this stuff a lot. So again, from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian for the Dumb Reach fragrance, this is Gentle Fluidity Silver. Okay, so we're finally gonna be moving on to the last category, which of course is the black tie event fragrance, or something for when you're just very dressed up in general. So this is something that's gonna bring a little bit of kind of a mysteriousness to it, maybe even a little bit of a challenging nature, but again, I still want to be very approachable and overall appealing just because of this video. So this one, I think it fits that bill perfectly, and it's actually the most affordable fragrance here on this list as well. So this is coming from the house of Diptyque, and this is Velout's Eau de Parfum, which this does have a little bit of similarity to another fragrance. If you guys are familiar with Chergui from Serge Lutens, there's a definite similarity between the two fragrances. This is just the one I have. I think that would be a great fragrance to fit this spot as well. But again, this is the one that I own. So if you're unfamiliar with either of the fragrances, these focus around tobacco and honey. So it's a really nice kind of sweet, almost dried leaf style tobacco. Again, with the honey, just amplifying that sweetness. There's iris in here, which comes across a little bit powdery, but waxy as well. Brings a really nice quality to this fragrance, especially if you like iris. I think you'll really dig this one working with that tobacco and that honey. There's a very spicy quality to this as well, and then a little bit of a resinous quality coming from some styrax. I think there's a little bit of hay in here as well. I don't know if it's listed, but I definitely pick up on a hay style note, very similar to what you get again in Chergui as well. I think it's just a beautiful fragrance. You can definitely find this one for about $100, maybe give or take, discounted. So it's a very good price for what you're getting. And again, this is just a really nice kind of black tie event fragrance while not being ultra challenging. So again, the last fragrance we talked about in the black tie event category, coming from the house of Diptyque, this was Velout's Eau de Parfum. Well, there you guys go. That was my top 5 fragrances on the niche side to start off your fragrance collection with. I really hope you guys enjoyed this list, and if you guys did, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support, and then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write a comment, maybe just let me know your thoughts, as well as some new video ideas or topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you have not already, if you could hit the subscribe button and then the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.